Have you ever been in a situation where someone's words instantly made you furious? That rush of anger, it feels like losing control, doesn't it? Emotional reactivity can be overwhelming. It affects our peace, relationships, and work. But there's a way out, and it's rooted in Buddhist teachings. In this video, we dive into the power of not reacting and how Buddhist practices can help you master your emotions. This is not about suppressing feelings. It's about transforming them with mindfulness and compassion. By the end of this video, you'll discover practical steps from Buddhist applications that will change how you deal with emotional triggers. Stay with me because the most powerful technique, often overlooked, comes at the end. So if you're ready to stay calm and take control of your emotions, stick around, hit the like button, and subscribe to learn more about how to find the inner peace we all seek. Let's break this cycle together. Watch until the end to transform your life. 1. The cycle of reactivity, identifying the root. Do you ever wonder why certain things trigger such a strong reaction in us? Often our emotions are like a ripple in water. They start from a small disturbance but can grow into powerful waves. In Buddhism, this reactivity stems from attachments and expectations. We get upset because we cling to specific outcomes or ideas. We expect people to treat us a certain way, and when they don't, we feel our inner peace being threatened. Imagine a scenario at work. Your boss criticizes you in front of your team. Instantly, you feel a rush of anger and embarrassment. You might think, why does this always happen to me? That's the cycle of reactivity in action. We react because our ego feels under attack. We think our worth depends on how others perceive us. But here's the truth. Our emotions don't arise because of what happens to us. They arise because of how we interpret those events. Buddhist teachings tell us that clinging to the ego is the root of this suffering. The more we attach ourselves to our pride, the more easily we get triggered. When our ego feels hurt, we instantly react to protect it. This reaction is not who we truly are. It's simply a habit we've developed over time. The good news is that habits can be changed. By embracing Buddhist practices like mindfulness and non-attachment, we begin to see our emotions for what they really are, fleeting moments that come and go. They are not permanent, and they do not define us. Let's look at another example, one that happens to many of us daily. Suppose you receive a rude comment on social media. Instantly, you want to respond and defend yourself. This urge to react is natural, but it's often not helpful. When we react impulsively, we give our power away to the situation. We let the comment dictate our emotional state. Instead, Buddhist teachings remind us to pause and observe. Ask yourself, is this worth my peace? Most times, it's not. Remember, our emotional reactions often say more about our state of mind than the situation itself. The cycle of reactivity also affects our relationships. When we react to our partner's words out of habit, we end up deepening misunderstandings. Here, Buddhist practices guide us towards staying calm, pausing, and responding thoughtfully. It's not about denying our emotions. It's about acknowledging them without letting them control us. Breaking free from reactivity allows us to regain our inner calm. This is the first step toward mastering our emotions. As we continue, we'll explore more specific steps you can use daily. Keep watching to learn how small shifts in your mindset can lead to profound changes in how you handle life's challenges. Embracing these Buddhist applications will empower you to control your emotions and cultivate lasting peace within. Step 1. Practicing the pause, using mindfulness. Mindfulness is the foundation of Buddhist practices. It's a simple yet powerful tool that gives us the space to choose how we respond to our emotions. Think of mindfulness as creating a gap between what happens to us and how we react. This gap, no matter how small, is the key to controlling our emotions instead of being controlled by them. So how do we practice this pause in our daily lives? It starts with becoming aware of our inner state. The next time you feel anger rising, stop, take a deep breath, and notice the feeling without judgment. Often, our emotions demand immediate action, urging us to lash out or defend ourselves. But when we pause, we allow ourselves to observe what's happening inside. This pause is not about suppressing our emotions. Instead, it's about acknowledging them, creating a moment of stillness. Now let's put this into a real-world example. Imagine you're dealing with a frustrating coworker. They criticize your work without understanding the effort you've put in. Instantly, you feel the heat of anger. Normally, you might snap back or hold a grudge. But this time, use mindfulness. Take a slow, deep breath. Count to 5. Let your initial reaction pass like a wave. In that pause, you give yourself the power to choose a thoughtful response instead of reacting impulsively. Buddhist teachings emphasize that this practice is not about avoiding emotions. It's about not letting them control us. By taking a moment to pause, we become more conscious of our thoughts and feelings. This awareness gives us a chance to reflect on why we're reacting and whether it's worth it. Is defending your pride in that moment really necessary? Most of the time, it's not. The practice of mindfulness helps us see things more clearly, allowing us to respond with wisdom and compassion. The beauty of practicing the pause is that it can be done anywhere, anytime. Whether you're at work, at home, or even stuck in traffic, mindfulness offers a way to stay calm. Here's a simple exercise you can try. When you feel triggered, focus on your breathing. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold it for 4, and then exhale for 4. Repeat this a few times. It helps ground you in the present, breaking the cycle of automatic reactions. Mindfulness is more than a tool. It's a way of life in Buddhism. It teaches us to live in the present moment and embrace each experience without clinging to it. By practicing the pause, we strengthen our ability to respond calmly, no matter the situation. This is the first step toward mastering emotional control. As we move forward, we'll explore more techniques rooted in Buddhist teachings that help us navigate our emotions with grace and clarity. Step 2. Non-attachment, letting go of ego. Non-attachment Vochap is a core teaching in Buddhism. It's the practice of releasing our grip on things that fuel our emotional reactions. Often we react because we're clinging to our pride, expectations, or desires. When these attachments are threatened, our emotions flare up. By practicing non-attachment, we free ourselves from this cycle. Think about it. How many times have you reacted out of a need to defend your ego? Maybe someone made a rude comment about your work, and you felt the urge to argue back. In that moment, you're attaching your self-worth to their opinion. This attachment is what triggers the reaction. But when you learn to let go, you create space for peace and understanding. Non-attachment doesn't mean indifference. It doesn't mean you stop caring about people or situations. Instead, it's about releasing the need for things to go a certain way. It's about accepting reality as it is, without letting our desires and expectations dictate our reactions. Here's a practical tip. The next time you feel the urge to react, remind yourself, this isn't about me. Often situations that trigger us have little to do with who we are. They're more about the other person's mood, their day, or their perspective. By recognizing this, you break the cycle of ego-driven reactions. Consider a common scenario on social media. Someone leaves a negative comment on your post. Immediately, you feel the sting of their words. You might want to defend yourself or reply with anger. But before you do, pause and ask, is this comment truly worth my peace? Most of the time, it's not. The need to defend or prove ourselves comes from attachment to our ego. When we let go of that attachment, we gain freedom. The comment loses its power over us. Buddhist teachings guide us to view ourselves and our experiences with compassion. When we practice non-attachment, we approach situations with a lighter heart. We understand that not every comment, every criticism, or every failure defines us. They are just passing moments in the vast stream of life. This realization helps us respond thoughtfully, without letting our emotions take control. Non-attachment is not easy, but it's transformative. It gives us the ability to face challenges with calm and clarity. In relationships, this practice allows us to listen without judgment, to love without expectations, and to communicate without the need to always be right. It creates harmony and deeper connections. So the next time you feel your ego being threatened, take a step back. Practice non-attachment. Ask yourself if the reaction is worth your inner peace. By letting go, you make room for tranquility. As we continue, we'll explore more ways to navigate emotions through Buddhist practices, empowering you to live a life of calm and balance. Step 3. Responding with compassion, transforming reactions. Compassion lies at the heart of Buddhist teachings. It's a tool that softens our reactions and transforms them into something powerful. When we feel anger or frustration, our first impulse is often to react defensively. But imagine if we could replace that impulse with compassion instead. Compassion serves as an emotional buffer, allowing us to handle difficult situations with grace. Buddhism teaches that all beings experience suffering in some form. When we recognize this universal truth, it becomes easier to respond to others with empathy rather than anger. The next time someone says something hurtful or rude, take a moment to consider what they might be going through. Often, their words or actions have more to do with their own struggles than with you. By seeing this, you shift your focus away from your own emotional response and towards understanding their situation. Here's a simple practice. When you feel anger rising, silently wish the other person well. In your mind, say, "May you be happy. May you be free from suffering." This practice not only helps to dissolve your own anger, but also creates a sense of peace within you. It's a reminder that we are all interconnected and that our reactions can either add to the world's suffering or help alleviate it. Let's explore a real-life example. Suppose you're in a heated argument with a family member. The situation is tense and emotions are running high. Your instinct might be to argue back, to defend your point of view. But in that moment, pause and practice compassion. Remind yourself that they are also struggling with their emotions. Instead of reacting, listen with an open heart. Sometimes people just need to feel heard. Responding with kindness instead of anger can transform the entire conversation. This doesn't mean you agree with everything or allow others to mistreat you. Compassion is not about ignoring your own boundaries. It's about choosing a response that aligns with inner peace. When you practice this, you find that people often soften in return. Your calmness becomes a mirror that reflects their own state, allowing them to pause and reconsider their words or actions. Compassion isn't just for others, it's also for ourselves. Often we're hardest on ourselves, reacting with self-criticism when we make mistakes. Buddhist practices teach us to extend the same kindness to ourselves as we do to others. By doing so, we nurture a sense of inner peace that makes it easier to stay calm in any situation. So, the next time emotions threaten to take over, remember to choose compassion. It is a powerful way to break the cycle of reactivity. As we move on, we'll discuss more Buddhist practices that can help you stay grounded and in control of your emotions. Embrace compassion and watch how it transforms not just your reactions, but your entire approach to life. Step 4. Using the breath, grounding in the moment. Breathing is a simple yet powerful tool in Buddhist practices. It is the gateway to the present moment. When emotions rise, our breath can help ground us, offering a way to regain control. This is why mindfulness often begins with awareness of the breath. It serves as an anchor when our minds are stormy with anger, frustration, or anxiety. Buddhism teaches us to focus on our breath to break the cycle of reactivity. The next time you feel overwhelmed, try this simple breathing technique. Inhale slowly for 4 seconds, hold for 4, and then exhale for 4. Repeat this a few times. You'll notice how this calms your mind and body, creating a moment of stillness in which you can choose your response. This practice of mindful breathing is not just a quick fix, it's a way to stay present. When we're fully present, our emotional triggers lose their power. We stop reacting out of habit and start responding with intention. Breathing exercises can be done anywhere, in the middle of a meeting, during a tough conversation, or even while stuck in traffic. This is the beauty of breath awareness. It's always with you. Consider a scenario where someone cuts you off in traffic. Your immediate reaction might be anger, but instead of reacting, pause and take a deep breath. As you breathe, imagine the anger leaving your body. This simple act can transform your response. Rather than shouting or honking, you remain calm and in control. Breathing is more than a technique. It's a practice of self-compassion. Each time you focus on your breath, you're giving yourself a moment of peace. You're choosing to be kind to yourself, to not let fleeting emotions dictate your actions. So the next time you feel emotions bubbling up, turn to your breath. Use it to ground yourself and find clarity. This small shift makes a big difference in how you handle life's challenges. As we continue, we'll explore more tools to cultivate calmness and emotional control. So, Keep practicing these Buddhist applications: mindfulness, non-attachment, compassion, and breath awareness. The rewards are not just for the present moment, but for a lifetime of calmness and clarity. As we move to the conclusion, we'll reflect on how embracing these teachings can transform your life, bringing you closer to inner peace and fulfillment. The rewards of staying calm. Now that we've explored the power of the breath to ground ourselves in difficult moments, let's move on to the benefits of mastering our emotions. When we practice mindfulness, non-attachment, compassion, and breath awareness, we open the door to a calmer, more balanced life. This isn't just about feeling good in the moment, it's about transforming our entire way of living. One of the greatest rewards of staying calm is clarity. When our minds are not clouded by emotional reactions, we can see situations for what they truly are. For example, when someone criticizes us, our first instinct is to react defensively. But through Buddhist teachings, we learn to pause and reflect. This reflection gives us the space to see that criticism is often not a personal attack, but a reflection of the other person's state of mind. By staying calm, we shift our focus from reacting to understanding, which leads to more compassionate interactions. Calmness also enhances our relationships. Imagine how many arguments or misunderstandings could be avoided if we simply took a moment to breathe and respond thoughtfully. Buddhist practices teach us that staying calm is not about suppressing our feelings. It's about acknowledging them without letting them control us. When we communicate with a calm mind, we foster deeper connections. Others begin to feel heard and respected, which naturally improves the quality of our interactions. Another reward is the improvement in decision-making. When we react impulsively, we often make choices we regret. However, when we ground ourselves through mindfulness and compassion, our decisions become more thoughtful and wise. We start to act from a place of inner peace rather than emotional chaos. This is why the practice of staying calm is not just beneficial in stressful situations. It's essential for making balanced decisions in all areas of life. Staying calm also cultivates inner peace. In Buddhism, this peace comes from within, not from external circumstances. When we master our emotional reactions, we realize that true happiness is not dependent on others or situations. It is a state of mind that we nurture through our daily practices. Every time we choose not to react, we strengthen our inner calmness, and this peace becomes a part of our being. Finally, remember that the journey to emotional mastery is ongoing. It requires patience and practice. Some days we may still get carried away by our emotions, and that's okay. What matters is our commitment to returning to mindfulness. With every breath and every pause, we are training our minds to respond with wisdom instead of reactivity. In conclusion, the power of not reacting lies within each of us. It's a skill that grows with practice and patience. By embracing Buddhist teachings like mindfulness, non-attachment, compassion, and breath awareness, we learn to control our emotions instead of letting them control us. Remember, it's not about suppressing your feelings. It's about choosing a calm, thoughtful response. When you face emotional triggers, use these tools to stay grounded and at peace. This journey towards inner calm transforms your relationships, decision-making, and overall well-being. So, next time you feel the urge to react, take a deep breath and choose to respond mindfully. If you found these insights helpful, please like this video and subscribe for more on Buddhist applications and staying calm in everyday life. Share your thoughts in the comments below. What techniques work best for you? Let's continue this journey together toward a life of clarity and inner